Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me, Rob, hurricane free.
Oh yes. We are recording this as I'm literally dealing with the eye, basically, of the Hurricane Milton. Have you seen my stapler? He is in town here, hanging out. So
he is looking at that stapler.
Yeah, so if you guys lose me during this, that's because I am in the middle of a hurricane here. So we'll see what happens here and see how long I'm on for. But power has been flickering the last hour. If you see in the background where it's going up and down and stuff like that, that's what's going on. The power is flickering. So I'm also using my backup equipment because of that. I have a little issue with my primary stuff I do have with me here, just so it stayed safe here. But it would not hook up to my laptop. So if any issues with volume, just let me know, guys, in advance. I know last time I did this was an issue of everybody hearing me, so feel free to let me know in the comments any issues sound-wise there. So hopefully not. Let's get into all the news, though, guys. We have tons of Giants news. We got new injuries. We got old injuries. We got a new game coming up, obviously, because, no bye week for us. No bye week for us. As Deb says, can't believe you're on, Drew. What else am I doing? It's the middle of a hurricane. It's all good. It's all good. It's just what happens, okay? As Solving the Race Problem says, escape from a hurricane or talk Giants football. I respect your priorities. It's not even that. So we moved over to a place that's not a flood zone, guys. I would never put myself in danger, not even for this show. So I'll show you this map here shows you. You can see it on the screen here. I think the angle a little bit here. There we go. You can kind of see it there. That's where I'm at in this storm here, basically. So, yeah. We're going through the eye wall. The eye is hitting Sarasota, not here where I'm at in Pinellas County. So, luckily, we're going to get, not get the worst part. We're not going to get the flooding and all. So, as we're going through this and dealing with all the wind and rain and all the issues there, obviously thinking about the people in Sarasota and Manatee counties that are going to be dealing with extreme flooding, I'm sure. Definitely hope those guys are all safe down there as well, because it wasn't supposed to hit there. That's why I always tell people, if you're in a hurricane area, never trust where it says it's going to land. It's like a tornado. It goes where it wants to go. You don't control that. It goes where it wants to go. It's how we know that the hurricane's obviously a woman.
As we say, just like the ex-wife.
All right, guys. Before we get canceled, let's go into good football news here. So... yeah, the first thing we got to talk about, obviously, is an injury towards the end of that fantastic game we had last week there with Kayvon Thibodeaux, who's now week to week there. So he had a wrist injury that required surgery there today, this morning. So he's not expected to play. We'll have to see what happens there. Daboll said, I'm encouraged with what I've heard, but again, you never know, talking about his long-term prognosis. So Kayvon Thibodeaux is expected to be back with the Giants. He's not out for the season. It's not that kind of injury. When you hear surgery, you kind of think that's what's going to happen, but no, he plans on coming back. So we'll have to see how long. And in the meantime, guys, for all the people that wanted to trade Azeez Ojulari this offseason, what do we keep saying in the show? You need him. He's your third pass rusher. Guess what? Guess who's probably going to start this place? Yeah, he's a third edge guy. That's what he's going to be, and that's the role that's perfect for him. He gets a chance to start. I think it actually works out very well for him as well, because if he balls out, guess who's going to get a decent contract this offseason? Because someone's going to pick him up and see the potential. Because let's be honest, as much as I'd love to keep Azeez Ojulari, he's probably going to be gone at the end of the year. Unless he does absolutely nothing. Unless he does nothing, and he's a gimme deal at that point. But I like him. I think he's got talent. I think he's gonna do pretty well. And this is not exactly a easy line we're going to be facing this week. We'll get into that in a little bit, but it's not exactly the most difficult in the league either. So Azeez Ojulari has a shot here to make himself some real money. And I'm not so sure we're going to see that much of a dip. Show me the money. Show me the money!
Show me the money.
Some of the race problems is this is the first time KT has been hurt. What I can remember, he's at least reliable staying on the field. No, he was actually hurt his rookie season, if you remember. He didn't start the first game against the Titans, was it that year, I think? And then I think the second game was against the Cowboys, and I think he played part-time in that, if I remember right. So he was injured his rookie year. So this will be 2 out of 3 seasons.
Yeah, he was sick against the Cowboys this year.
Yeah, so two of 3 seasons he's had injuries. That means at that point there, he had injury issues in college as well. We knew that going into it. So same as the people that complain about Azeez Ojulari being injured all the time, don't get people with injury issues, and then get shocked when they get injured. That's what's going to happen. Like that's who they are. You know, it's like being upset when you bring me to a buffet and the place runs out of mashed potatoes. It's going to happen, guys. You brought me there. Like,
give me them shrimps.
Oh, I don't know. Mashed potatoes is my thing, dude. That's my jam. That's my jam. That's like a dinner version of ice cream for me. It's amazing.
You can put it on a cone too.
Oh, with bacon and cheddar cheese. Actually, the best way to make it is put a ton of cream cheese in it. I'm telling you, makes it so nice and fluffy. It's good. Bye. Anyway, away from food, let's get into Malik Nabers. We got to talk about the injury update with him, because the big question right now is Malik Nabers going to be playing this week?
He could cut.
And guys, I'll give you the quick answer. We don't know. He has still got concussion issues dealing with. He's not cleared yet from the concussion protocol. He's limited in practice today, so his game status is still unknown. As far as any update on how he's doing, Brian Daboll just said he's doing better. So, I mean, the fact that he's out there at all, though, is a good sign. The nice thing is he had the injury on a Thursday. So, at this point, by the time we play next Sunday night, he's had a lot of time to recover from week to week at that point there. But listen, guys, everybody recovers at their own time from things like that. And you can't rush it. This is his long-term health. This is, things that you don't want to go ahead and cause issues on at that point there. So, he's back when he's back. That's what it boils down to. So I just hope him a speedy recovery. I'm kind of curious to see also what this offense is going to do with him when he gets back, because we had a much more balanced offense last week. And let's be honest, that was the best the offense looked all week. I'm sorry, all season. So was that necessarily an issue of, Malik Nabers? I don't think so. Unless we were purposely just forcing it to him and that hurt the offense. I'm not so sure on that. But if we can get some guys like Slayton and Theo Johnson more involved along with Nabers, now you get a much better offense. Wandale is the volume guy, Slayton is the deep guy, Nabers is your all-around guy, Theo Johnson is your bailout guy. It's a nice system. Going to work out pretty well. Throw in occasionally a screen pass, maybe. So good problem to have. A lot of people to feed the ball to. I'll take it. That's a problem we haven't had in a few years, guys. That's not a typical Giants problem. Like, oh no, our offensive line is actually blocking, and we have to figure out who to throw the ball to.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're actually average.
Hashtag first world problems right there, guys. All right. We got a Giant that's leaving as well. And that's Kate Mays, who we picked up there this September. So those might forget, we just picked him up September to the practice squad. 6th-round draft pick originally of the Panthers back in 22. He's appeared in 27 career games with 7 starts, all at guard. And that was all the Panthers. And the Panthers took him. They plucked him right off our practice squad there. So he never elevated for a game this season. So it's not like we lost somebody we were counting on or using at certain points of the season there. Benton Whitley, or the former Giants edge rusher, who was dropped last week to make room for linebacker Matthew Adams, who is coming off the IR, is picked back up to take his spot on the practice squad. So we get somebody who we're familiar with, somebody who's been on our squad before, and somebody at the edge position with what's going on with Kayvon. We might need another edge rusher. So not the worst thing in the world, because keep in mind, from the practice squad, you can call them up a couple of times. So if Kayvon's week to week and he's out for a couple of weeks, maybe Ben Whitley's the guy who all of a sudden makes the active roster for a couple of weeks. Who knows? Because if you put Azeez Ojulari into the mix at that point there as a starter, You got who? Boogie Basham? And yeah, it's not exactly a very, good position depth-wise for us, that's for sure. So someone's going to have a chance to make a spot. And as much as I said before about, Azeez Ojulari having a shot here to prove himself in free agency, these guys all have a chance to prove themselves to be a legit backup edge rusher for the Giants going forward when and if Azeez Ojulari leaves in this offseason. So it's just an important position for these guys as well. But again, Cade Mays off our practice squad onto the active roster for the Carolina Panthers.
They need all help.
All right. Let's give some good news, guys. We don't get a chance to give many accolades to Giants players very often. And we got some chance to do that. Isaiah Simmons is named the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Now, I wonder, what did he do on special? Oh, yeah, that's right. He blocked the field goal that sealed the victory for us there, guys. And an amazing, absolutely amazing play by him still. It's still so that, when they showed it originally on TV, they didn't do a very good job of showing what he did. Luckily, they had another angle to show it later on. But it was a really damn good play, I thought, overall. After the play, Simmons said, "I said today I was going to block a punt or field goal, one of the two. I didn't know which one, but it was going to be one of them." I love the confidence. That's a little cocky, eh? I'm sure he wouldn't have said that if he didn't.
Yeah. Yo, New York, I did it.
Yo, Adrian, that's Philly now. Never really Philly thing. Stop this. Head Coach Brian Daboll said of Simmons, he's a first-round pick. He's been on a couple different teams. There are certain roles that he plays, and not everyone is a starter for you. The people that play behind them or the specific roles we have, they have to execute their job at a high level, whatever the role is. That's what good teammates do. Certainly, everybody wants to be on the ball on offense, or to play 100% of the time. This is a team game, and you can only put 11 out there. When your number is called, we're expecting you to make the play. I'm proud of the young man for that. He made one hell of a play at the end of the game to seal it. That's a little weird and long-winded, I thought. I'm giving the whole quote because that's what he said. And I'm kind of curious, why did Brian Daboll say, everybody wants to be on the ball on offense? Simmons is a defensive player. I don't think he wants to play on offense.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he might not mind it if they gave him the shot. I don't know. But he's a linebacker, safety, slot corner, whatever the hell he is. He's a hybrid.
Somewhere in that middle kind of area.
Yeah, he's a Toyota Prius of the football team. That's basically what he is.
Pretty much.
Let's see here. We got a couple more comments here. Solving the race problem says, well deserved for Simmons, and then says, love seeing Dex pull that guy down to make sure Simmons gets a clean jump over. Yeah, the whole team just did a great job on that play. They really did. Simmons is going to get the credit, of course, because he's the guy who got his hand on the ball. But the whole team did. Let's be honest with that. That's not something one person gets the credit for. That should be a field goal block team in general gets the credit as a whole. So, all right, we got more good news, guys. More good news. We got some more good news. The Giants are moving up the power rankings, guys. Not that that matters for anything playoff seeding wise or anything, but it matters for our heads. And our heads weren't at a good place prior to this week. Let's be honest here. It was not in a good place. Now we can say it's in a better place. So, Giants on USA Today went to 22, which is up 5 spots. Nate Davies, who wrote the article, said, since his disastrous Week 1 return to the lineup, QB Daniel Jones has accounted for 6 touchdowns, 1 turnover, and a 95.8 passer rating, including Sunday's win at Seattle, when wide receiver Malik Nabers and running back Devin Singletary were sidelined. Maybe paying Jones $40 million per is reasonable after all. When did you ever think you would see that posted on a legitimate article? Like, that's like so you expect on like Onion News. Like, USA Today saying maybe paying Jones $40 million per is reasonable after all. And I'll still say this, guys, even people in the media have overreaction Mondays or Wednesdays, whatever day today is. Like, it's like, and I get it. He looked good weeks 2 and 3, and 4, but he didn't look great. He looked great last week. If he does that on a regular week, I think all of us fans will be happy if he is that player every single week. So, time will tell if he actually is. But we've had, many years now to see that, and I haven't seen it. So, I'm not holding out hope, unfortunately. Not trying to be pessimistic. I'm just trying to be realistic. So, now, ListWire put us at 17. It's up 13 spots, guys. That's 13 spots. That's a huge jump. Barry Warner says, the Giants prep for an appearance on Sunday Night Football against the Bengals with a strong effort in Seattle. They could have had their spirit broken on the 101-yard fumble recovery, but remained strong. Isaiah Simmons' block of Jason Myers' field goal attempt sealed the road triumph. That's a huge jump, guys. That means we went up from 30 to 17. Yeah. That's like pick 3 in the draft to average. That's pretty good. I will take that. As much as I know some guys will be upset, I want a quarterback. I want the better draft pick. I want to lose this year. No, I want to win. Figure it out later on. If you need to figure out a quarterback situation next year, I'll figure it out later on. I have no problem with that because, guys, look at the first-round picks in the draft. Have they all been great?
Nope. Normally it doesn't pan out.
Just saying. Some of the best quarterbacks have been drafted mid to late first round. I'm not worried about that. So, get the right guy in there, which I think we have in Daboll to teach him, and we'll be fine. So, let's pay the bills real quick, guys. And then we're going to go into breaking down this week's action here against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Alrighty, guys, as we're back here. So again, as always, if you prefer, as opposed to doing the Buy Me a Coffee, you can also do, you can send money with super chats on YouTube. You can do stars also on Facebook as well. So any support you guys give is great. I mean, we appreciate it. And if you really wanted the best thing, I can tell you it's free with us. Free is that you can go ahead and if you really want to, stay up to date and everything going on with the New York Giants, you want to be the person who knows everything going on with the team, just hit the subscribe button. Because that's how you're going to find out that. It's 100% free to hit. As long as you act today. It's on sale.
Ooh. Buy one, next one half off.
It's like an Amazon Prime deal. It is Prime Days. So yeah, you can hit the like, you can hit the subscribe, you can hit the share, all that 100% free, guys. As I'm watching the radar, by the way, look at this. See if you can see it. I'm trying to tilt it the right way so you can see the screen. There you go. Look at that. That's where I'm at right now.
It's coming.
Oh my god! It's not coming. It's here. It's here. It's not coming anymore. It is here. That is crazy. It doesn't look that bad outside, honestly. So. But as I said, it's easy for me to say. I'm not in the thick of it in the flood zone. So those are the people I worry about. So because my camera's all messed up here now. There we go. All right, let's get into the preview here of the Bengals. The team that's basically been probably, if you're being honest about it, probably the biggest disappointment right now in the NFL. I mean, seriously, that's a huge disappointment, guys. What they usually are to what they are right now. I mean, this is a team that you look at challenging for a Super Bowl, an AFC Championship appearance. That's the kind of thing you're expecting at that point.
Squeezed into the playoffs with a backup quarterback, was in the run the whole time.
Yeah.
Still possibly winning the division.
And instead, they're 1-4, guys. They literally have the same record as the Browns. Anytime you're tied for the Browns, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's just basically where you're at. So, let's break it down here, what the problem is exactly here. So, and we're going to start right with their problem. And that's talking about what we're going to do while we're on offense here. Let me give you the stats on what they're on offense here. So, the Bengals' defense is just horrible. Frankly, it's horrible all around. Yeah. Cincinnati is 31st in the NFL with points allowed, giving up 29 points per game. They have given up literally 103 points over the last 3. That brings it for the average is 29. Well, the last 3 is 34.3 points a game they're giving up, guys. Think about that. 30 points, as I'm getting my emergency alerts here, by the way, saying get out of town, basically. It's too late. I'm already here. But 30. Could you imagine giving up 34 points a game for 3 weeks? Like, that's insanity, guys. Like, we would be like telling Shane Bowen he's got to go.
Yeah. Hey,
that's what we'd be doing. And yeah. They have a good defensive coordinator, though.
I don't know why they can't get together, especially, It doesn't make sense.
I look at the roster, and I think the biggest issue is that they've been signing guys to big money deals for offense. And they haven't been keeping the defensive guys. Remember, was it 2 years ago they lost both their starting safeties? Both very good safeties at that. They've lost guys, even like some of the more mediocre guys like Eli Apple, which you don't think of Eli Apple as a loss, but listen, if you got worse behind him, he is. They've lost guys like crazy on this defense because they keep signing, Jamar Chase needs a big contract. Burrow's got a big, huge, massive contract. T. Higgins, they're giving a lot of money to on the franchise tag this year. Like, they have a lot of money in those 3 players alone. Plus throw in things like Orlando Pace has got a huge contract at left tackle. So, they're giving out money like you would not believe the offense. And they just been kind of hoping the defense gets it together. It doesn't work that way, guys. You can't ignore one side of the ball. You have to develop players on both sides, then sprinkle in free agents. That's why they're 1-4. So, as I'm getting more warnings, my phone just went off with a flash flood warning. Like, oh, you think I might get flash flood warnings during a hurricane?
You never know.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Is there a wind advisory too, perhaps? like what do you expect? Anyway. Teams are running the ball on this defense on a pretty high rate there. That's one of the massive issues they're having here. So 50.76% of the plays against them are runs. Okay, that is tremendously high at that point there. So that is puts them as 27th in the NFL. Now, the way the rankings works, the list, they run you the higher you are at that point. So that means that, there's only 4 or 5 teams ahead of them that people are running on more than this team. And they're getting up 151.4 rushing yards per game. That's 30th. And they're allowing 1.2 rushing touchdowns per game. That's 22nd. So they're basically allowing what the Vikings did last week almost every week, basically. That's basically what they're doing.
Pretty much.
That's not good. That is not good, guys. Their passing defense has been better, but not great. They're giving up 67.74 completion percentage, 21st in the NFL, 214 passing yards, which is 19th. Now, keep in mind, only 5 teams have had less passes thrown against them in the NFL, and they're still ranked 19th in passing yards. So what does that tell you? The passing has been very effective. They're just not using it so much because the run game is that much better against them. So it's not that the pass defense is great. It's just the run defense is that much worse. So they're also not getting to the quarterback, and they're sacking the QBs at just a 3.73% sack rate. That's 31st in the NFL. By the way, we're number 1 on that rate. We're number 1. Sounds so good to see something positive for once. So guys, this is an offense. So this is a defense that our offense should have no problem with. And I hate to say it and put high expectations like this, but anything short of what we did last week, and I'm disappointed. Because this is one of the worst defenses in the entire league. That's literally the way it is. And I'm not trying to be rude about it. I'm trying to just give you blunt, honest truth, guys. As Deb says, maybe they can hire Robert Saleh as the defensive consultant, sorry. Since Robert Saleh was just fired this week from the Jets, but he's already said he's not going to go into any position this year. He's just going to enjoy the rest of the offseason. So the rest of the season, and then go to the offseason and figure out what he's going to do from there. So no one's coming to save them. And again, I don't think coaching is the issue. I think it's purely a talent issue. You can't keep drafting like the first round pick they had this year was tackle. You can't keep drafting and signing offensive players, ignore your defensive players, let your good defensive players go, and expect to be able to stop the football. That's not going to happen. Hendrickson's probably the only defensive star they really have left. He's getting up there in age now at this point. B.J. Hill, the ex-Giant, they still have him as well, but he's a good player, but he's not a great player. Think about it, we had him on our team, and I'm not saying that is a bad thing. Like I thought he was underutilized when he was a Giant. But he's no Dexter Lawrence. He's no, Chris Jones. He's not that kind of echelon. He's not even DeForest Buckner. Like he's above average. They're missing stars on defense, and because of that, guys, the Giants should be able to take full advantage. The Giants should be able to go ahead and have a game like we had against the Vikings. I expect Devin Singletary to have a very good game if he's back. We'll have to see on that. We'll give you guys the injury report tomorrow and that kind of stuff. But if he's back, I'm expecting a big game from him. And if he doesn't have a big game, and let's say hypothetically Tyrone Tracy has a good game, guess what? Those cries to Tracy to take his starting job are going to get louder and louder. 100%. He's got to prove that what he did against the Cowboys was a fluke and a one-time thing. Because that's why I think the cries are there, because he went against a really bad run team and didn't do a damn thing with it. So now he has another one. If he's healthy, he has a chance to do something special here and shut people up. Because that's a great feeling if you're a guy that's somebody's trying to take your job and you come back and just crush it. That's a great damn feeling to go ahead and just take it. Say, nope, I got this. This is my job. And honestly, it's best for the Giants. It's best for the Giants. Like I said, we talked about this on the last episode. I'm sorry. We talked about it. Yeah, we talked about last episode. It's not good for the Giants to have Tyrone Tracy Jr. shoved into a starting lineup. Because if he fails at all, you're going to kill his confidence. You want Devin Singletary to be your starter, or at least a split between the two. So you give Tracy a chance to truly develop naturally without forcing him into a position when he's still learning the running back position, guys. He's still learning. Got great instincts, though. Yeah, he's like I said. I'm counting on both those guys having a big game. I'm counting on Daniel Jones having a steady game. I want to see a couple more bombs from him too. I want to see a couple more Slayton bombs. Like that. That's my challenge to Daniel Jones this week. Is shut us up. And I don't mean us, just me and Rob. I mean all the fans, all the content creators, all the media personalities, because that's what got us so mad. Everybody's like, oh, he played great weeks 2 through 5 there, but he didn't because he couldn't throw the deep ball. And until you can throw the deep ball on a consistent basis when it's there, and the guys have been wide open, you're a game manager. He did that very well with Slayton on that one drive there. A couple bombs to him and really made it nice and simple. If he continues doing that, he's going to shut us all up, and I'll be glad to be shut up. Like I said at the get-go, we are here to root for the kid. He's a great guy by all accounts, and he's a New York Giant. So this is the week for us really to have a good offensive output there at that point. Let's get into we're on defense, though, because that's the big one everyone wants to talk about with this team. Because of that man there in the picture, Joe Burrow, a.k.a. Slim Shady, with that platinum hair color he's got now.
No, he's got that.
I've also heard him referred to as Ellen DeGeneres. He's also referred to him as seen him referred to as Ellen DeGeneres as well with the haircut he's got going on too. So
I was gonna say it's more like Ellen these days because he's got the frost tips in there.
Does he have the frosted tips down? I missed that. I already saw him like short and platinum.
Yeah, it's not so much you want the frosted tips. I think he just got a haircut and never redyed it, so it's just stuck there with the half.
He's got the money to fix it. He's fine. Let's talk about we're on defense, though, because the defense, like I said, it's a different challenge. The offense is facing a really bad defense. The offense is still really good, guys. The offense is not the problem for the Bengals whatsoever. As much as Joe Burrow gets the blame with the team's 1-4, it ain't him. It ain't him. He can't play defense. The Bengals are literally 4th in the NFL in points, guys, at 28 per game. Can you imagine scoring the 4th most points per game in the NFL and being 1-4?
That's because you let up the 3rd most points.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, that doesn't leave much room for error like that. It really doesn't. They're 9th in yards at 359 yards per offense per game there. They're also on both 3rd and 4th down conversions. They're the 4th highest rate in the NFL. So it's an efficient offense. It's a scoring offense. It's an offense that's doing its thing. This is a challenge for this defense this week, guys. So the big thing is you got to focus on the pass because they don't run the ball very often. They only run the ball on 37.84% of plays, which is 26 in the NFL. Now they do average 4.3 yards per carry, which is 17th in the NFL. That's about average, but they don't run very often. So they got two running backs that kind of split the carries. Zach Moss, you all remember him. He's been in the league for a few years now. 211 yards, 3.7 yards per carry average with 2 touchdowns. And Chase Brown, who's actually been the better of the two, he was one of their backup running backs last year. 230 yards, 5.6 yards per carry average, and 2 touchdowns. So Chase Brown is definitely the guy I'd be worrying more about. That being said, I'm not really worried in general because they don't run the ball. Why am I going to focus if they don't do? Now, I would go ahead and keep everybody deep at that point, force them to want to run the ball, and adjust if I have to. But I'm not going to sit there and focus on stopping the run when they only do it on 37%. That's not a high percentage, guys. That is not something you got to worry about,
No.
So, got to stop the pass. They're second in the NFL at passing 72.25% of the offensive plays. That's I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong stat here. They're completing passes at 72.25% passes. That's second best in the NFL. They also get 293 passing yards per game. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty high. Now, they're also not very bad at protecting Joe Burrow. They're getting him sacked on just 5.98% of passing plays. That's 10th best in the NFL. So, yeah, guys, it's a lot of talent and a lot of things going right for that offense. This is a challenge for our defense, point blank. On this season so far, Joe Burrow, 72.3 completion percentage, 1,370 yards, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Yeah, that's damn good, guys. That is damn good. Jamar Chase, 29 catches, 493 yards, 5 touchdowns. Having an absolute amazing start to the season. T. Higgins, 18 catches, 182 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, Higgins, though, they've been throwing the ball just as much to him almost as they have to Chase. He just hasn't been catching the ball. That's not to say it's on him. I'll let anybody who happens to be a Bengals fan address that there. But if you look at the targets are not that much different. And the completions is a huge difference on. They also have, at the third running back position now, a newcomer, a guy who says their second year from Princeton University. Princeton. Pinky's out there at that point. And this is a guy that, I'll tell you point blank, I may mispronounce the name. Usually I try to make sure I get this stuff ready beforehand, but I've been prepping for this hurricane that I'm in the middle of so much at that point, and I always mispronounce his name. We talked about him pre-draft even. Andre Iosovis. I'm always probably going to mispronounce his name. I apologize to him and his family. 12 catches, 153 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So he's done a pretty good, effective job as a third receiver. The film I got the chance to watch here while I was actually watching it while I was prepping and packing at that point there, he did pretty decent there. I mean, if you think about it, he's got only 30 less yards than T. Higgins. So he's done a good job there. And he may be the second receiver next year if they don't keep Higgins. Keep in mind, Higgins is on that franchise tag. Our old buddy, Mike Gesicki, is their main receiving threat in the tight end position there. He's listed second in the depth chart, but he is their receiving tight end. He's got 17 catches, 178 yards. Remember, he had former Dolphin, former Patriot last year. Guy also is a Giants fan. He's the guy that literally begged on social media for the Giants to pick him up, and for whatever reason hasn't. As far as the offensive lineman, again, guys, the line has been playing very good in pass protection. But if you look at the PFF grades, it's actually pretty average. The only weak point has been Amarius Mims, who was the first-round pick out of Georgia. Got a 51.9 PFF grade on the right tackle spot there. That's the spot they need to go after. The rest of the offensive line has all been in the 60s. So that's the weak point. We talked about the weak point last week being the right side of the line, and guys, they beat him right up the middle instead at that point there, where they actually beat him up there. But the Giants aren't afraid to attack the quarterback. They're really leading the league in sacks right now. And this is a damn good team because they've actually been centering it around a whole bunch of different people. It's not like one guy is the guy. Though Dexter Lawrence is like, I think, half a sack away from the NFL lead right now in sacks for the season. So, definitely having an absolute amazing season there. So, yeah, Giants are going to have to play this one good. And I'm curious to see what does Banks do against Chase. He had a pretty good game, I thought, last week on DK Metcalf. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens there. Because while we talked about 3 receivers for the Bengals, and the second receiver is a pretty good one, the third one's a young and upcoming receiver, Jamar Chase is the guy. Stop Jamar Chase. You want to stop this Bengal offense, you got to stop Jamar Chase. And that's what it all centers on, is get to the quarterback, disrupt the play of Joe Burrow as best he can, which is easier said than done. He's a very good quarterback. But disrupt his play and try to focus on stopping Jamar Chase. And if you can do that, you can play deep and stop big plays, you can hang maybe with these guys. Because we can't give up 35 to 40 points to this team. Like, this can't be that kind of game. In a shootout, we're probably not going to win. That's not the Giants' MO. The Giants' MO is a low-scoring, close game. Even this week, our best offensive performance we had. Again, we had the 14-point swing with that fumble at that point there. But that's probably the closest we came to a shootout. But it wasn't a shootout. It wasn't like a 30, 40-point kind of thing at that point. The Giants haven't shown they can do that. So we got to be really careful as far as that part there. As I'm about to lose power here, it looks like potentially, guys. So if you lose me, I'll be back in a second. You need to step out for 2 seconds. Let's talk about the game outlook overall and the predictions here. Because this is a game that if you look at the way the Bengals are playing, you look at the way the Giants are playing after coming off of what was their best week overall. I think that you got to look at this and go, you know what? The Giants are the better team right now. But we can't ignore how explosive this offense is, guys. We can't. You can't go, okay, well, this team's 1-4. It is still Joe Burrow and the Bengals. So I'm not prepared to sit here to say this is going to be a blowout in any way, shape, or form. I see this going one of 2 ways. Either the defense does their job and we win a close, low-scoring game, which is what our MO is, close, low-scoring games in general. Or Joe Burrow goes off and we get blown out. I don't think it's going to go either way like that. I mean, any other way than that. It's going to be one of those 2, like close win for us or a blowout win by the Bengals at that point. I'm going to go with it being a close win for us, though. I'm going to call it like that. The defense has done a really good job. I think they have enough talent on there to go ahead and stop, Joe Burrow and his offense. This defense for the Bengals cannot stop anything. If DJ has a game like he had last week, we're going to win this game. It's all up to, I'm going to say 2 different people. It's up to Dexter Lawrence, because he's got to keep doing what he's doing right now. He's the driving force behind this defense. And it's up to Daniel Jones to have another week like he had last week. What do you got in the outcome of the game, Rob?
I agree. It's somewhere in the middle. I'm going to say it's probably a similar score to what we saw in Seattle. I see it going to be like it's not going to be a blowout. I don't think the Bengals are going to put up 38 points like they did last week, and I don't think it's going to be like one of those games where it's going to be 13-10 as a win. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Well, a lower-scoring game where it's going to be ballpark in the 20s each team, 23-20 or something along those lines. And then, the defense is going to have to step up. Joe Burrow, like I've heard you say before, he's still one of the most explosive quarterbacks in this league, even though they're 1-4. It just also proves to show that you can't put everything you have on your offense. I mean, Joe Burrow last week, fantastic. Anyone that is fancy, they saw that he put up, crazy amount of points. And Jamar Chase, same thing. Jamar Chase had 150 yards last week, 3 touchdowns. Like Giants, like if we give that up, it's going to be hard to do, to come back from that. Jamar Chase is like one of those guys. It's another test for Banks over in the corner as Drew comes in from the side saying that he lost power. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and give the bold prediction that the Giants are going to win this game 24-21 and a nail-biting defensive back and forth game. I think there's going to be a lot of yards in this game. I think our defense is going to step up in the red zone. I think there's going to be a couple 3-and-outs on our side, but enough. You're going to do enough to win the game overall. So that being said, Drew's not here because he lost power. Some guys can't control, Milton over there. Guess Milton found a stapler. Yeah. So the average game, like I said, last week has been about 40. I think it was about 50 points scored on average. So I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think we're going to pull it out in that just below what the average score was last week. Instead, comes in. I think it's going to be a little tougher than the Seahawks game. And you know what? Everyone thought the Seahawks game was also going to be a little tough for Deb. And then everyone thought we were going to get blown out. And what happened? We won. So Giants have been playing better football than the Bengals have overall. But by far, they have a better offense. But our defense is a top-tier defense. So you could sit there and make the argument that our team's the better squad coming into Sunday Night Football. With that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and give my prediction for Thursday Night Football. Drew's not here to tell me otherwise, so nah. You got the Niners going into Seattle. Talk about Seattle again. Seattle is giving up is given 3.5 points at home with the over-under at 49, right there at the 25 each side, that 50 points. I'm going to go ahead and this is a bounce-back game for the Niners. Both teams are beat up. It's a divisional game, but the Niners just got beat up at home. And all of a sudden, I became Drew, just like that. He's got power back.
I'm back. I am now Rob. There we go. I'm back to my right side.
I just wrapped up the game. I said it's going to be about a 24. My bold prediction was 24-21. Giants win in a tough game. Giants are going to have a few 3-and-outs. I think the Bengals are going to have a couple nail-biters going into the red zone, and our defense is going to do what it has to do.
All right. Did you address Deb's question or Deb's statement here?
I did.
Okay.
You weren't here.
Did you agree with? I know. Listen, I'm in a hurricane. It is what it is. I'm here, okay? Listen, that's dedication to the show, goddammit.
Listen, I told you the same thing I'm about to tell you. Listen, everyone, we went in last week saying Seattle's going to be a tougher game than what it was for us. And what did? We went out and we got the win. And I think it's going to be the same thing. Like, this is going to be a team on paper that should beat us, but we're going to wind up beating them. Because we got a better offense overall, but we got the better defense.
We do.
Probably the better of all 4 sides of football.
I think the difference really in the two, though, if you want to compare the Seahawks and the Bengals, is the fact that the Seahawks and Bengals both have a top 5 to top 10 offense in this league. The difference is the defense. Now, the Seahawks, though, had a very banged-up defense, and we talked about that during the game. Like, a lot of the guys came back. Leonard Williams came back. Julian Love came back. A lot of those guys were back in. But there were still guys that were injured. They weren't 100%. That's not to the same offense. It's not the same defense the last 2 weeks that they were the first, 3 weeks or 4 weeks of the season there. So I'm not sure to what degree, obviously, but my eye test tells me that the Bengals are probably a much worse defense than the Seahawks. And that's the 100%. Difference. So similar offense, Bengals probably a little better on offense, but the Bengals are so much worse on defense that the Seahawks are a better team. There's a reason this team's 1-4, guys. This is not their Bengals the last couple of years. This is the Bengals team that cannot stop anybody on offense whatsoever. When they're on defense, I should say, they can't stop anybody that's on offense whatsoever.
I mean, we could make also that argument. Like, you could say the Seahawks are better, but I don't know. I think they also had some tough play, like Commanders, right? You say they're a good football team. Beat the Bengals.
How do we do against the Commanders?
Listen, we barely lost them, but we lost them. They beat the Bengals.
No, what I'm getting at though is that we did a better job against them than the Bengals did at that point. The Bengals gave up how much? I got here 38-33. That game was.
Yeah,
38-33. It's a close game, but it's a very high scoring game. You know, this is the loss to the Patriots, guys. 16-10 week 1. Like, that's not good. 41 points given up to the Ravens. 24 points given up to the Panthers. I mean, this is not a good team, guys. Not on defense, especially. That's what kills it. You can score all of the points you want. If the other side of the ball is letting the other team score more than you, you're in trouble.
this is true.
So,
I mean, the Ravens won games last year with getting 9 points on the board, getting 13 points on the board, winning ball games because their defense would only end up 9 points, 7 points a game, 6 points a game.
yeah. But, I mean, we talk about it. They're giving 33 points up a game, the Bengals. You can't expect the offense for the Bengals to put up 40 points a game to make sure they win. That's not fair. You know, something's got to give.
That's good.
Something's got to give.
Hopefully not the Giants.
So, yeah. So guys, we'll be back again for you tomorrow. We'll see as far as me. As of right now, I still have power.
Drew, before you run up.
Oh, did I forget?
Yes, you got to put your prediction. I said the Niners are going to win at home. I took them in. Well, I was getting to that, but I'm going to go with the over. Actually, I'm going to go with the under in this game, but I'm going to go with the Niners in the win.
I'm going to say the Seahawks will win. The Seahawks will be given points, so they're good there as far as that. And I'm going to say the under on the points as well. I'm going to give you the under. But I think the Niners, they got so many injuries, it's hard to deal with. And I think the Seahawks are getting healthier. And people are judging the Seahawks based on the loss to us. Let's be honest. People are going, oh my God, this is the team that lost to the Giants. They can't beat the Niners. That's what they're doing right now. And that's not fair to the Seahawks. Again, they're still coming back. People coming back from injuries. They're still getting healthy. Now they got a week to get healthier. And I think this is a different team because of that there. And again, the Niners are so banged up at that point there. It's part of it. They just lost to the Cardinals, guys. Yeah.
Divisional game.
That's not good.
So
The Cardinals. I know, but still, that's the team that usually beat the you-know-what out of. So, like I said, I'm sticking with Seahawks to win.
Coolio, give me them points. No.
All right. I'm still up. All right. So, guys, again, tomorrow night we'll be back on live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time there. Now, I don't know what's going to happen as far as me. So, I will make sure my picks are in those. That way, if Rob needs to go solo, he can do that. And you guys will know what I say. And Rob can't complain that I had extra time to prepare for my picks. So, he will. Like a little baby.
He'll be on a lonely island sketching and doing a smoke signal to me.
Yes.
Change it mid-show.
I see it. About 1,000 miles south of me, there's a smokestack.
Yeah.
I don't know how many miles it is. Whatever. It's like a 16-hour drive. The best, a 20-hour drive, actually. Best case scenario. So, yeah.
True.
But yeah, like I said, yeah, but as solving the race problem says, anywhere to get if Nabers is going to play. No, we don't know yet. You missed that part of the beginning there. Yeah, we don't know that yet. They're going to play it, close until they know 100%. They don't want to say he's getting close to returning, and then God forbid he can't return, and then people are mad. They're just going to say we don't know he's doing better, and they'll see from there. But again, guys, we'll be back again tomorrow night. At least Rob will. We'll see if I am. As of right now, I still have power. I got 2 more hours of the worst of this, the eye of the hurricane. If anybody is a Hamilton or Lin-Manuel Miranda fan, they probably have that hurricane song in their head at that point right now. But yeah, I got another 2 more hours to go with this. Let's see where I'm at right now. Oh yeah, we're doing good. Look at that. Oh yes.
White blob on the phone.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Right in the middle of that. I'm in the thick of it. So we got like I said, another 2 hours before it gets better. But like I said, I still have power. I still have power at home too. It's not just here when I'm hanging out with family at that point to get to safe ground. So I should hopefully be there tomorrow. If I'm not, though, Rob, you got this. Sure that I will mock you for your picks in the next episode. And we will be back again, obviously, for the Bengals game as well. Obviously, that's a big game for us, Sunday Night Football game. I know the plan is to do something play-by-play wise here. Again, we kind of have to play everything by ear because of what's going on here in Florida and my situation here. I know that Rob was talking about potentially doing it, and I know that if I have power, I'll be doing it definitely. I've enjoyed doing that the last couple weeks for you guys. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that, though, overall. That depends on how the rest of tonight goes. So, again, thinking about all y'all that might be listening in the, the Manatee, Sarasota area, trying to get a little escape with the storm here. Hope you guys are high and dry as best you can be. And the other guys getting hit big time with this right now. I know even parts of my neck of the woods, I saw Snow Island, which is part of St. Petersburg, absolutely covered in the water. And this is the same people got hit with. They talk about North Carolina getting hit. Hawaii hit here too. And people that are low-lying areas, it was like going back to what it was with Sandy. That was still up there during Sandy. Like those people were sitting there like, every single thing they own on the side of their house, on the side of the street, on the sidewalk there, like waiting for it to just get picked up and thrown out. Like that's how it is in parts of St. Petersburg, Tampa, places like that as well. So, definitely thinking about those people as well that might be dealing with, even if they're not dealing with storm surge, they're still dealing with flash flooding. We're getting like 10 inches of rain in this thing, guys. I'm still going to find out tomorrow when I get home if my house is fully dry. I'm hoping so. I did the pool noodle trick and a ton of sandbags on my doors and all, but I do get a lake in my backyard sometimes, so we'll see what happens there. So
you have a lake in your backyard. I've seen it.
I do have it's a little lake. It's a little lake. It's more of a they call it a retention pond. It's like meant to take the rainwater. So / be home for gators, but it is what it is. People had one couple came back from the storm and they found a gator in their house when they opened the door. Opened the door, was a big gator sitting in the walkway. Like, no, close that damn door. Real quick. Nope. Close that door. They call an animal control before I go anywhere near that house. Yeah. Gator patrol. That's one thing people never think about. Like you have to when you get back to a house that you evacuated for a storm and come back, there are critters that'll try to get in your house like crazy to avoid the storm. We already had tons of geckos and everything trying to get into our house and all. So it's on the bright side, there'll be no bugs. The geckos will eat them all, so it's okay.
Take a gecko all day long. He'll save you money on your car insurance. As long as it's not an alligator, he'll try to eat your car insurance.
Exactly. I like mini gators. So, yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Again, appreciate you guys for watching. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. Oh, yes. And you can find us also on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and all those things as well there. So we don't go as much as often. So the big one really is YouTube, guys. It's the best spot to find us. We are, of course, also available later on the audio podcast as well. It goes up at 5 o'clock in the morning, day after a show. That goes on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there. So anything that basically you're on audio podcast-wise, we should be there. So again, if you haven't already, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. We're on a quest, guys, for 1,000. Yeah, we're on a quest for 1,000 subscribers on YouTube specifically because YouTube will start giving us money at that point if that happens. We like money, so I'm sure you all like money as well. So yeah, that's a quest. So that's our biggest request is that. Oh, see that? A request to a request. Oh, I just did that. Is to hit that subscribe. We need about another 300 people at that point there to hit on that. So we're about 70% of the way there, which is better than Bon Jovi. He was only halfway there. So appreciate you guys for listening, and as always, of course, as always, Giant fans,
go G-Man!
Go G-Man! G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please.